Welcome to New Life Live, the premier place to receive free advice from Christian psychologists and counselors for the mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual challenges you face. Since 1988, we've offered compassionate responses that combine God's truth with proven psychological principles to guide you toward healing. Our phone lines are open. Call us now at 1-800-229-3000.
Hi, friends. Welcome to the first New Life Live of the week. As usual, we'll be in the studio for 2 hours, so call in. 1-800-229-3000 is the number. I'm Brian Perez, and we like to say if a relationship costs you your peace, it's too expensive. Let us help you make your peace a priority. You can call for relationship advice and more. Betrayal trauma, recovery issues. We are here for you. Loneliness, depression, anxiety, attachment styles. We've got the expert here, licensed marriage and family therapist, Marc Cameron. How are you, Marc?
I'm doing well. You almost forgot my name.
I almost forgot your name, yes, even though I have your book right next to me, so I could have looked over here and looked at the name. But also joining us today is the man so nice they named him twice, J.J. West. He's a licensed marriage and family therapist as well. J.J., how are you? We don't have J.J. I wasted that joke for no reason. Oh, wait, there he is, way in the background. Come closer, J.J. We can't hear you.
No, I'm here.
You're kind of here. We hear a little bit of you.
Okay. Well, I'll try to talk very much into the mic as much as I can. Ooh. But I'm here.
Okay. Do you think that's going to hold, or it's hard to say? All right. Well, go ahead, JJ. Nope.
Okay. All right. Sorry, guys. I don't know.
No, maybe we should.
I'm not sure what the connection problems are.
Yeah,
today.
let's go ahead and try to fix that now. And Marc, anything on your mind as we start off the program?
Well, I could talk about something two words that determine how we show up to stress that we often interchange. And that's the difference between reacting and responding. Now, the word reaction comes from two Latin words, re meaning again or back, and actio meaning to act. So to react literally means to act again or act back, and it's a repeated action that we take from our past. It's immediate, it's automatic, and it's often emotional and usually unconscious. But reactions are driven by instinct or fear or old wounds. And in conflict, our reactions are usually what we learn to do to protect ourselves or what we learned from a parent. However, reactions often lead to further conflict. It typically exacerbates it. But a response, on the other hand, is very different. It's deliberate, it's conscious, and it involves a pause that considers long-term outcomes. And so when we respond, we take time, sometimes that's just a few seconds, just to consider the big picture. You know, what's going to best serve this relationship? What's really happening here? Mm-hmm. And we even distinguish between these two words in medicine. So if your doctor says you have reacted to a medication, that's not a good thing. But if she says you're responding to a treatment, that is a good thing. And that's the reason why we call them first responders and not first reactors, right? But when stress hits, how often do we show up as first reactors? So here's a common truth. In conflict, speed often destroys, and we can't respond and react at the same time. So we got to learn how to not react before we can learn how to respond. And that process starts by identifying how we experience emotions in our body, because that can be a first alert system to help us create that pause. Now, Viktor Frankl, who was an Austrian Jewish psychiatrist, but he was also a Holocaust survivor. And when he went through the death camps, he realized that the Nazis could take everything away from them, but their ability to choose their response. And he wrote in his book, between stimulus and response, there's a space. And in that space is our power to choose our response. And in our response lies our growth and our freedom. So if we can learn our body's stress pattern, we can use that as that first alert system to create that pause so that we can consider what's the best thing to do right now. And then over time, that pause becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. And eventually, rather than acting from our past, we'll be able to act from who we really want to be. And that's where growth and true freedom come from.
Yep, so let's learn how to react. No, how not to react, how to respond instead of react. Marc Cameron is here with us today in the studio. We'll hear from J.J. West as well. And you, phone lines are now open for the next 2 hours, 1-800-229-3000.
Hello, Hello, it's Becky Brown, and I just want to share with you about our upcoming webinar, Break Free from Depression, Tools to Reclaim Your Life. If you've been overwhelmed, exhausted, feeling hopeless, or disconnected, this live event will give you the tools and encouragement that you need to move forward. We're going to hear from Dr. Jackie McHarris, who is a trusted counselor that you hear on New Life Live all the time. We're going to help guide you through practical strategies and biblical truth to help you find real hope in your journey. Jackie will present for about an hour, and then we'll have a 30-minute question and answer following the presentation.
The Break Free from Depression webinar is Thursday evening, January 15th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go online to newlife.com. Get tools to reclaim your life and break free from the patterns that keep you stuck. 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
If you can't catch New Life Live on the radio every day, that's okay. We understand. Life does get hectic, but New Life Live isn't just a radio show. It's a podcast as well. You can connect with us wherever you listen to your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, etc. You can watch on our YouTube channel too, or on the podcast page of newlife.com. Never miss an episode again. It could be your New Year's resolution to never miss New Life Live ever again, especially when you've got the podcast. You can listen every day. Also, we have the Every Man's Battle podcast, and Season 3 episodes are now available. Well, at least the first season begins today, and videos will now be available on the New Life app. So check that out. Download the app if you don't already have it. 1-800-229-3000 is our number, and let's go to the phones. Here is Danny in Lynchburg, Virginia, listening on WAVA. Hi, Danny. Welcome to New Life Live.
Hey, guys. How you doing today?
Doing well.
Happy New Year.
Thanks. You
Happy
too.
New Year.
Yeah. So I have a couple of questions for Marc Cameron. I got your book. We were talking about attachment theory about a couple of weeks ago, and I've read your book in about a day and a half. It absolutely is fascinating.
Wow.
Congratulations. Wonderful book.
Oh,
it has
thank
really
you.
been so so I'm really, really excited about this. I do have a couple of questions for you, though, that
Sure.
just came up as I was reading and highlighting and circling and coloring and everything. I mean, it's crazy. This book is marked up big time.
It's because
is
it's
great.
written by Marc Cameron, so, you got to mark it up.
Yes.
But, yeah, I've done the same thing with
Yes.
my copy. Yeah. I was just reading the chapter today where Mark gets lost at the mall. Kind of. Well, not really.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. It's ADD, right? No, I'm joking. All right. So, here's the first question. Mark, when you get your adult voice and your grown-up voice, how do you do that? Is it with practice, patience, and perseverance? Because my parents never modeled any of these. When I did the assessment of the assessment, in the back of the book, I'm going to ask you that. What do we do with that? How do we figure that out? But my parents never modeled any of this for me at all. I had no clue that they were so messed up until I read your book. And I'm like, that explains it all. So, we had everything from ambivalent. I am definitely ambivalent. And then I had another question, too. Is an ambivalent the same thing as a let me see, what's the other word that I'm trying to think? Ambivalent and, I'll get to it in just a second. Let's go to the first question. So how do you get your adult grown-up voice?
Yeah,
how do you get the grown-up voice instead of the small voice?
And
inside
Danny,
you, the child voice?
tell us a little bit about the areas that you feel like you don't have a grown-up voice in, or who.
I don't feel like I have it at all.
Okay.
I don't feel like I have it at all. And the reason I say that is because if you look at my assessment, my parents only came up with maybe 3 or 4 marks out of the whole entire assessment. I'm not lying to you. I wish I were playing with you. They literally hit nothing or negative, not that I can notice. I mean, the only thing they scored was about the first 3 points where they said that I love you, and that was rarely. Mother, father, hug, kiss, or touch me in the way that I felt loved. It was all about them. They were very narcissistic. I mean, I I already knew that, but like my mother following acknowledged and talked to me about my emotions, never. And very rarely.
But
very rarely.
that's
The
interesting
rest are
because
all
you
zeros.
said you didn't realize
None of them.
how much it had impacted you or how they had gone
No.
wrong until you read the book.
Well, I knew that there was something wrong, but I could not figure it out until I read this book. I'm like going, oh my gosh, that is like so. I want to say God, because I'm like going, dude, this book is very revealing, and I'm like going, they literally scored a 0, an X and a 0 on all of the ones all the way down except for number 9.
Wow. Well, when we don't have a grown-up voice, usually we can't say no, we can't say stop, we can't advocate for ourselves, and this is a learned thing. And so we learn language by the people around us, and as a child we learn that from our parents. And we gain that adult voice when our parents give us options. They give us opportunities to be able to push back in appropriate ways, to be able to negotiate, to be able to navigate on certain things. That could be that birthday party, sleepover, or something like that you want to go to when you're in high school and your parents are a little bit cautious about allowing you to go, but then they ask you to, well, tell me the benefits of going here, or if you get into a bad situation, what will you do? And so we learn how to get this adult voice through language, through them teaching us and modeling for us, and then them allowing us to negotiate with them. And so if we didn't develop that, then we need to develop that in adulthood. And so we need to learn that language. And so a great way to do that is to find a coach, a mentor, a therapist, somebody who you see has good language, can have good boundaries, and then sit with that person and then learn to practice. Think about different situations that you get in where you struggle to say no, or where you struggle to hold a boundary, and practice with that person through role play. That's a big way to do it. I often do this with clients in therapy, is I will show them what to do. And then I will have them practice it back with me. And then I will throw some objections out there. I'll say, come on, I really need your help. Can you not really help me out? And I'll practice in that place so that until they feel confident. And so that's how we develop our adult voice here. And that assessment at the end, it's really, I know I call it an assessment, it's really more of a questionnaire, because there's no actual scoring to it that leads you anywhere. It's really more about identifying how our connection with our parents there's 28 questions on that assessment. How well how well we answer those 28 questions about our parents helps us inform how our childhood has impacted us now in our adulthood. And so that's what that assessment at the end is for.
JJ West, are you with us yet?
I am. It's funny. I've been listening the entire time, but for some reason you guys couldn't hear me, so I apologize for that. But it's good to be on with you guys. By the way, Happy New Year to you guys. Happy New Year to Danny. And Danny, I do understand the challenge of finding that adult voice. I remember my freshman year in college, I came back home, and my family ran a Christmas drive for needy children in our county for years and years and years. So every year at Christmas time, that's what we did as a family. So I came back from college, Christmas break, and it was getting close to Christmas Day. And of course, that was the busiest time. And one evening, as we're all working, I said, well, I'm going to go now. I've got some dinner plans with some friends. And my older sister looked at me and just with incredulity was like, what are you talking about? You can't leave. And I said, sure, I can. I've got other plans. And she couldn't understand the concept of me saying no to the family tradition of running this Christmas drive till the wee hours of the morning every single day. But saying no there began a journey for me of finding that adult voice, of being able to say no, being able to have boundaries for myself that says I'm only allowing this kind of interaction into my world. And as you said, Marc's book does a great job of helping us to identify those challenging places in our story. Because I grew up with a mom who, till the day she died, she really had no adult voice to say no to people. So she was constantly overworked, constantly stretched beyond her means. And so, like Marc said, it's really important that you're going to practice this. It's not going to come all in one, reading of the book, or all in one, challenge to yourself. It's going to come through practice over many months and years. But if you stick with it, you will see growth. You will see change. And so practice with a good therapist. Practice with your small group from church. Practice with some friends. Practice with if you've got a recovery group, if you're in a New Life recovery group, if you're in a support group, practice in those settings so that you have a safe place to mess up and learn from those mistakes to keep growing and keep moving forward. But I applaud you for your efforts, man. Great job.
Danny, what do you think of what you heard?
Is ambivalence the same thing as a vacillator, or are they both the same, or are they different?
No, that's the same thing. So the ambivalent preoccupied, that's actually the research language, and I use the terms from Mylan and Kay's book, How We Love, because I just find them so much more helpful and easier for a reader to connect with. So yes, a vacillator is somebody who is ambivalent or preoccupied. Same attachment
So
style.
it is the same thing.
It is.
Okay, so it was just interchangeable words. So I am definitely, what you called me the other day, I definitely have a label, and I don't mind that label. I definitely identify with it because I am definitely a vacillator. I go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and I want to get that grown-up voice and be straight and be more respectful and respectable. And I don't know how to do that other than role play and practice with my new psychologist that I'm going to get through the VA hospital. They were calling me on the other line. So thank you so much for teaching me so much. How do you self-soothe? How do you do that? What in the book, it doesn't explain how you self-soothe. How do you do that?
Well, as you develop that adult voice, Danny, you also develop an inner narrative to be able to talk yourself down through things. I mean, we learn how to self-soothe because we are first co-soothed. And so when we get stressed and dysregulated as a kid, we usually have a parent who we could run to, or that's the ideal. That's how it's designed, that we can run to and they can comfort us and they can talk us through something. And as they learn to do that, our parent's voice ends up becoming our inner monologue. And so if you didn't get that as you learn to develop that adult voice, eventually that will become part of your inner monologue too, and you'll be able to talk yourself through difficult situations. But I applaud you. I mean, you read the book in a day and a half. It took me 4 days in the studio to read it for the Audible. So you're a really fast reader. But keep going, keep reading. I've written it in a way that it's designed to be a manual that after you read it through, each section builds upon one another, that you can go back and you can keep reading and you can just keep growing. So keep doing it, Danny. You're doing awesome.
Yes. And thanks for calling in today and sharing your story of how this book has impacted you. And it's good because last week I was talking about how I started reading the book and I realized that the acronym for understanding your attachment style, UYAS, it's like, ooh, yes. Because every time I read it, I picked up something new and I would underline, circle everything that Danny just said. Now, something else that she brought up about self-soothing. So often we hear the term self-medicating. Right, where people, when they're stressed or whatever, they turn to, vice of choice or whatever. So what's the difference? I mean, I know what the difference is, but let's talk about that.
And so self-medicating is a version of self-soothing. We're just doing it in a non-relational way. But the healthiest way for us to self-soothe is in relationships. When we have stress, when we have difficult emotions, God has designed us for community. When we go to heaven, it's all God's people all of the time, and He's put us here on earth as His hands and His feet, and so we're designed to connect with one another in community. And so when the process of bonding happens well, we learn to go to others and share with them what's going on the inside of us, and we receive comfort and we receive care. And when that doesn't happen, then the alternative is to self-medicate in non-relational ways, and usually that ends up being destructive with food, with drugs, with pornography.
Yeah. JJ?
Well, that's such a great answer. And I'm glad you said that at the end, because I think that for me, that's the big difference between self-medicating and self-soothing. Is self-medicating almost always has a cost to it that outweighs the benefit. It's almost always that destructive end result rather than something that is connecting, rather than something that is helping me to understand my own heart, understand God better, understand others better, and connect with them in a healthier way. Self-medicating typically causes me to isolate from others and usually leaves me feeling a great deal of shame.
Very good. Danny, thank you so much for starting off our week on such a great positive note. You guys can call in with your comments too. You don't have to just call and ask questions. We'd love to hear how our resources, how our radio show and different podcasts that we have, our intensives, how they've all helped you, because when you share your story, it allows other people to hear that, and then they say, you know what, I'm going to try this, because we can talk all we want here till we're blue in the face, which wouldn't be good. But, you know, when they hear it from you guys, it kind of adds some weight to it, because they're like, you know what, this stuff actually works. So get Marc's book. It's called Understanding Your Attachment Style. It's in the newlife.com store. Danny, thanks so much for calling in today. We've got more calls and lots of calls already on the board, so you'd better call in. And before they all fill up, 1-800-229-3000 is the number. If you're on hold right now, stay on hold. You don't want to lose your place in line. 1-800-229-3000.
Here at New Life, we want you to have transformation. And so we have created the New Life courses, and you meet weekly on Zoom with a coach or counselor. You're going to have teaching as well as that group connection, because we know how powerful that is. We hear that all the time about our intensives, that they love the information, but the group process is so powerful. And many of you have been hesitant to participate because you're not sure, you know, the timing, the price. The New Life courses are going to meet you right at that area of need. Every week you're meeting on Zoom with that therapist. You're going over the concepts as well as connecting as a group. It is so powerful, and it's accessible. Wherever you are, you're going to be able to join us.
Begin your transformation January 29th with a New Life course. Lose it for life, take your life back, or healing is a choice. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Do you need help for life's hard situations?
My husband recently said he wanted a divorce.
I'm confused on what I should do.
I have an eating disorder.
New Life Live answers your questions on relationships, grief, addiction, trauma, anxiety, and much more, all from a biblical perspective with our panel of professional counselors and psychologists.
I learned a lot from your program.
You help so many people.
I appreciate your ministry.
Whether you listen or watch, there are so many ways to connect with us to ask our panel of counselors a question. Call us Monday through Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific at 1-800-229-3000 to ask your question on New Life Live. Or go to newlife.com/radio for other ways to get your question answered.
I'm trying to find help.
I just want to know how to set boundaries.
If it's a sin, what am I supposed to do?
Need a therapist or a coach, a resource, or an intensive? Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We have 3 online courses launching on January 29th that help you break free from unhealthy patterns and move toward emotional and spiritual wholeness. Lose it for life, take your life back, and healing is a choice. You can find out about these 12-week online courses that are led by a counselor at newlife.com. These courses, it's once a week for 12 weeks, 1 hour a week on Zoom. They provide small group community for encouragement, connection, and accountability. You can learn all the details about each course and register at newlife.com. 1-800-229-3000, our number today. And now let's go to Jacksonville, Florida, to Amber, who's watching us on YouTube. So let's wave hi to Amber. Thanks for calling in today to New Life Live, Amber.
Hi, how are y'all?
Hi, doing well. How can we help you?
I called about maybe a month back or 2 months back, and I am still struggling to find connection, and I just feel like giving up. I had quit my part-time job because I just wasn't happy, and I'm just not happy. Not happy at all.
Just because of your job or other things too?
Just other things as well. ringing in the new year alone, it's not happy.
Is it?
I had thought about suicide over the past weekend, and I felt guilty to feel like, I should have been the one that got shot instead of my sister.
Wow.
So she wouldn't have left her child behind. And I
Danny,
felt like if I was the one that got killed, then at least I'm not leaving nobody behind, at least nobody that don't care.
Remind us, Amber, when did that happen to your sister?
2022.
Okay.
so,
wow.
so your sister was shot in 2022. Were you there, Danny?
Amber.
Sorry.
No, she was murdered in a double homicide, and she was only 21 years old. And, she was my sister on my dad's side, and the support, I didn't get much support or comfort from my family. I remember one of my sisters had said, well, you didn't have a relationship with her, so it shouldn't hurt that bad. I didn't. You can't say goodbye, or to the funeral and everything. I was just pretty much shut out.
You weren't? Amber? Are you saying you weren't allowed to go to the funeral?
No, they told me I could come to the funeral, but they couldn't stop the other family from attacking me. A lot of stuff that was going on that they had issues with my mother, and my mother had passed, a year before my sister was murdered. So,
wow. So you had two very significant losses in the span of a year, and both of those have been within the last 5 years.
Yeah, with other losses, but.
And all of those happened against the backdrop of a lot of family dysfunction, a lot of disconnection, a lot of, as you said, this attacking, this lack of love and support within your family that you grew up in.
I don't. It's like when you have family like that, who needs enemies?
No doubt.
I just never was comforted by any of the losses I had. With my father. With my mom, which they pretty much were concerned more about me.
Amber, how old were you when your father and your mother split up, broke up, divorced, whatever their relationship was?
Their relationship, I don't know what it was, just a bunch of chaos.
Okay. So did you grow up having a relationship with your father or no?
Because my mother kept me away from my dad after age 6.
Okay. Okay.
I think I had talked about that the last time I had called.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I'm sure Mark is going to talk about, because he's the expert on the panel on this, having just written a book about it, is that, you grew up in a home where you weren't taught how to properly connect emotionally with others. And so now you live in a life of isolation. You talked about how part of your unhappiness is a result of being alone. I think part of what's going on is that it's hard for you to even make relationships, to develop and then stay in relationships. And so you find yourself feeling very isolated and alone. Obviously, you can hear the music. We're going to have to take a break here in a minute and come back. But when we come back, I think that's going to be the key, is learning how to be in relationship with others in a way that is meaningful, so that it's both something you offer to, but also get from them.
Amber, stay on the phone. We do have to take a break, as J.J. West just said, and we're going to be in the studio for 2 hours today. So if you've got a question about what we've discussed so far, or just your own situation, whatever it is that you're going through. We just finished the holiday season, and maybe it wasn't such a good time for you either. So we invite you to call in and talk to J.J. and to Marc Cameron. Our phone number is 1-800-229-3000. If you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube right now, thanks for watching. We've got the number right there on the bottom of the screen, because we'd love to hear from you too on New Life Live.
I went to Every Man's Battle in 2012. My sexual integrity was not what it should have been. I sought out affairs, whether physical or emotional. Until I came to Every Man's Battle, I didn't understand that would never fill that void.
Every day, men struggle with sexual integrity. Impure thoughts, strip clubs, affairs, pornography.
The shame and guilt was overwhelming.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Intensive.
You will discover what the true root of your pain is, and you will discover how to overcome.
You don't have to struggle any longer. Get help in Orange County, California, January 23rd through the 25th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to register or to find out more. 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Enter the code NLL for a discount.
Every Man's Battle saved my life.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found Life Recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 Steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
And back to Amber in Jacksonville, Florida. You still with us, Amber?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right. Thanks for holding through the break.
Amber, I'm so sorry to hear about all your losses. And it just sounds like, as JJ was mentioning here, that chaotic childhood that you went through has really taken a big impact on you. And even to the point of being rejected by your family in your grief. It sounds like it was also in their grief too. They're probably dysfunctional also, but when we're in grief, sometimes we look for someone to blame, and it sounds like you became the emotional punching bag during the funeral. It's such a vulnerable time for you in that moment. So that just added to the pain. Wow. So you've got a lot of rejection from your family here. Do you have community, Amber? Do you have friends? Do you have a church? Do you have a therapist?
I have a church.
Okay.
I mean, not like a church, but I went to lunch with one of the ladies from the church Saturday, and we talked or whatever. But afterwards, I still felt alone, and I had went into the closet and got a little bit of what my mother left behind, which wasn't much, and I just threw it away because I wanted my mother's spirit out of my apartment because I'm just angry with her of how she treated me, and how she treated my father. Like I was just so angry. Like I just wanted to burn her obituary up because she wasn't a good mom, and I was just used. I was just used for a government check, I just wasn't conceived out of love because she didn't have no real skills, no work skills or anything. She already had 6 children under the belt with 2 different men, and then she had me, and
So Amber, you know, you may not have been conceived in love from a human perspective, in terms of your parents having a love relationship, a loving relationship. But Scripture tells us that we are knit together in our mother's womb by God Himself. And so even though you weren't conceived in love from the human perspective, you were made, you were created in love. You were knit together in love because your loving Heavenly Father created you. He knit you together, and He did that in love. He didn't do that by mistake. He wasn't surprised by what happened between your parents. It didn't catch Him off guard. He intended you for a purpose, and his purpose wasn't for pain in your life. His purpose for you wasn't for disconnection. His purpose for you was for you to know Him and to experience love from others. And I think that's what Mark is asking about, is your community. Are there people in your life who have that kind of loving relationship with you, whether it's a church group, a therapist, a small group somewhere, a friend group of people who surround you and say, Amber, no matter what your story, no matter what your past, no matter what brought you into this world, we're here for you. We love you, and we see the beauty and the value in you. I think that's what Mark is asking.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that too, JJ, because that you have purpose, Amber. And sadly, we don't get to choose our parents. We don't get to choose our family. And oftentimes our parents, they parent from the place that they know how. Mm-hmm. Sometimes that's with best intention, and other times it's because they had chaotic childhoods themselves. And so sadly, some people like you grow up with parents who are not good parents, who don't know how to love and care well because they haven't learned. Now, you're in this place that as an adult now, we've got to learn how do we heal, even if we didn't get the lessons on love that we should have got here. So I'm going to encourage you here, Amber, to let us connect you with a therapist. I'm concerned from you because you said that you had some thoughts about suicide very, very recently. So let us connect you with a therapist and try and get you in to see someone this week. I'm also going to encourage you to go see a psychiatrist too. Whenever we're having these strong thoughts about death, oftentimes getting on medication can help relieve some of those thoughts so that we can then go ahead and do the work in therapy that leads us to healing. So medication doesn't necessarily heal us, but it creates enough capacity for us to do that work. And then I want to encourage you to continue reaching out to people at church. And I want you to tell someone what you just told us about having those thoughts of suicide, because I want you to have somebody who's close to you, who's regularly checking up on you, and who you can go to, okay?
Now, something that Amber said, JJ, maybe you can answer this. She went to lunch, I think she said, with a friend of hers or somebody from church this past Saturday, but afterwards she still felt lonely. Is that a reason to not continue to seek friendship or fellowship with this woman or other people?
Yeah, no, of course not, because it's not a one and done. We're having to, we need to change the balance. So, you know, the balance has been askew for a long time, where most of her world, Amber's world, has been isolated, disconnected, and feeling lonely and feeling sad, right? Feeling depressed. And so one lunch with a friend isn't going to balance that scale. It's going to take multiple connections with multiple people who are for her. And I hope that this person she had lunch with from church is someone who's for her. But it's going to need to be multiple times, because the tape that's playing in our heads from our upbringing, from our experiences, it's been playing a long time. And so it's kind of like those catamarans, right? Where, you know, the boat is, it's being pushed so hard by the wind that it's tilted, and they have to lean way out the other side of the boat to try and keep it from capsizing. And that's what we're talking about here, is there needs to be this leaning way out the other side of the boat. in terms of this isolation, disconnection. I'm not worth anything. I'm not valuable. That message has been playing for far too long. And so we need multiple messages of leaning out the other side of the boat to say, no, Amber, you are a child of God made in his image for a purpose.
Yeah. How do you find safe people to connect with? And we're hoping that the person that she went to lunch with this past Saturday is a safe person. But how do you know that a person is safe?
Well, there are many groups out there that are regulated by professionals or people who have certain certifications. And so that's a great place to start, because you're right. Sometimes broken people end up in wanting to help other people, but they do it in a broken way because they haven't found the healing themselves. And that can further deepen hurt and wounding. And so if that's happened to you, don't let that be something that prevents you from reaching out again. There's a lot of safe people out there. So finding a professional, finding a group, something like a
life recovery
AA,
group.
A life recovery group, Celebrate Recovery, those places that have some kind of oversight and accountability too.
Amber, thank you for calling in today to New Life Live. And if everybody watching and listening can keep Amber in your prayers, that would be fantastic. 1-800-229-3000 is our number. And JJ, how goes things with the Every Man's Battle podcast?
Well, it's going great, actually. We just launched season 3. Today is the first episode of season 3, and we're excited about the new season. There's going to be all kinds of new things that we're releasing in season 3. We're trying to change up, right? Every season, we try to add a little bit new content, a new idea. And so one of the things that we're doing differently this season and season 3 is we are hearing the stories of the facilitators who serve at the Every Man's Battle Intensive. We're getting to know their stories. Doug and I each shared our own stories in season 1. And one of our listeners gave us some feedback that he thought it would be great to hear other guys' stories as well, because there's something unique about everybody's story that you key into and go, oh yeah, that's more like me. And so we've interviewed several of the facilitators who serve at the Every Man's Battle Intensive. Been incredibly wonderful stories to hear. We've also invited several guests back, like our own Marc Cameron. He's on a couple episodes for season 3, which we were thrilled to have him back, to have his knowledge and wisdom. So it's a great season. Can't wait for the guys to get to hear it.
So do that. It begins today, season 3. And if you missed seasons 1 or 2, they're available as well. We've also got video now on the New Life app. So that's another way that you can watch if you'd like to. But this is something for guys that are dealing with sexual integrity issues, whether it's pornography or whatever the case might be. So many different issues. You can find out more at newlife.com. And then the Every Man's Battle Intensive, the workshop, is coming up in just a few weeks. It's going to be in Orange County, California. And the last day to sign up for a discount is this coming Friday. So do take advantage of that. And then we'll see you at the Every Man's Battle Intensive the weekend of January 23rd here in Southern California. More calls coming up. We're in the studio for 2 hours. 800-229-3000.
We've been married 33 years. We attended the Intimacy and Marriage Workshop. Even though we've read books or attended a few other marriage weekends, this was certainly different and a lot more intensive than initially that we thought.
When you come to Intimacy and Marriage, you're going to be immersed into a 3-day process.
Was not really sure exactly what to expect, but the idea of learning to really understand intimacy was intriguing. We had been in the same patterns of struggle over and over again.
If you've thought, I don't think we can ever change, we're just in this rut and we can't get out, the Intimacy and Marriage Workshop can help you get out of the rut.
The Intimacy and Marriage Weekend is February 13th to the 15th in Orange County, California. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the code NLL for a discount. 1-800-639-5433.
I would highly recommend it.
For over 35 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addiction, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
I found a counselor through New Life Ministries, and it's just been outstanding.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first steps toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door for a better tomorrow.
To get someone that's competent, that's good at what they do, it's been like day and night compared to what I've had before.
Call 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
When you give to New Life, your generosity helps people like Danny and Amber and Jay and Jessica and Kay and everyone else who's coming up, as we're going to be in the studio for 2 hours today. Your help restores broken marriages and families. It breaks people from addiction, helps them find strength in the midst of depression and grief, and to grow deeper in faith and spiritual health. You can give online at newlife.com or by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE or text NLM, as in New Life Ministries, to 28950. Thank you for whatever you can do. 1-800-229-3000, our number in the studio. And here is Jay in Roseburg, Oregon, listening to us on Sirius XM channel 131. Hi there, Jay. Welcome to New Life Live.
Thank you. Good morning to you.
Hi.
Almost 60 years old and been suffering and struggling with anxiety. I don't know about depression, but anxiety off and on since I've been a little child. And I'm just trying to get some direction on, like, right now it's so severe that my sleep's being affected and I feel like I'm going to lose my mind or they're going to put me away, and God doesn't give us the spirit of fear, but of power, love, and sound mind. And I struggle against that. I've been saved since 2004. And it's been very hard on my wife. My friends, family, it comes and goes. Yeah. I've done pretty good for about 3 years. I take a small half a pill of something. I don't even know what it is. I can't tell you right now, but it's never really ever gone. It's just I can usually live with it.
Yeah.
Jay, you said
just looking for direction.
Yeah, Jay, you said you struggled since you were a child. What happened in childhood that may have made you fearful?
I do not know, to tell you the truth. I don't know. When I was little, it's also in my family. My grandmother had issues, and her sister, and so when I was little, I would always try to get out of school because I feared my parents dying, or something would happen to my parents. I would go home a lot when I was little, and of course through life, I had good parents, other than there was some issues, but it's never, I was in an airplane crash when I was little, when I was about 7 or 8, but,
you were in an airplane crash?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. We all got out okay.
That feels big.
Praise God, but
that's
it
huge.
was big, but yeah. So there's a lot of stuff in my life. I just trying to find direction because I'm having a hard time dealing with it right now, and it scares me. And I don't like feeling. Well, it's not that I don't like feeling. It's just that I trust the Lord, but I'm still battling this situation, and I really don't have any great avenues that I can have found that someone cares, or that I want to get better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Jay, fear is learned. I know sometimes we'll look at people who struggle with certain things in our family and we'll think, oh, well, that just got passed on to me. It's it must be in our family's genes. And yes, there are genetics, but genes can be turned on and off. So we can be predisposed to something, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it will be passed on to us. But fear is learned. And so when you are around fearful people, is what I'm hearing you say, your mom, and I think maybe you said your grandmother or your aunt, we pick up on this fear because as kids, we literally are smaller than our parents, so we can't even see as far. And so if we look to our parents, we look up to our parents to see what they can see. And if they seem like they're fearful and they're worrying and they're protecting us, when we can't see danger, we think, well, we better, my mom and my dad are tall enough, they can see, they're seeing something that I'm not, maybe I can't pick up on things for myself. And then that's where chronic anxiety can kick in, where we can become hypervigilant to danger. Now, anxiety itself is not a bad thing. Okay, when we're in danger or we're in the presence of danger, we should feel anxious. If I'm walking next to a cliff, I should probably feel the edge of a cliff. I probably should feel a little bit of anxiety here. So there's a difference between state anxiety and trait anxiety. And when we have trait anxiety, that's basically what we're calling chronic anxiety. And so I'm hearing from you, there's this chronic anxiety that's likely been passed on through modeling of family members. And then, as you said, a plane crash, then sometimes when we have these big situations, that just reinforces, I need to be on the lookout for danger. Mm-hmm. So if you haven't already or you're not already, I would recommend you getting into therapy with somebody to talk about how your parents or growing up in your family, how chronic anxiety states may have shaped you to become hypervigilant. And then also to process through this plane crash, because that does sound big and that does sound like a scary incident, but you want to be able to teach there's a part of your brain called the amygdala, and that's really where our fear stems from. You want to be able to teach the amygdala what is something to be cautious about right now and what is something that you can be confident enough to handle. And the amygdala doesn't learn by just us telling, it's going to be okay, like we're being silly. It doesn't learn with language because that part of the brain can be disconnected from language. It only learns by experience. But being able to talk about our experience and process that helps us get language to integrate those two parts of the brain so that we can put a story to an emotion that we're feeling in the present, and then help us to be able to say, okay, that was back then and this is now. But then there is going to be a type of leaning in to gain that experience to prove to yourself that you're not in danger.
JJ, what do you say to Jay?
Yeah, and just to build on that, there's also the fact that there are emotions that we feel that are pre-logical, that before we've even had a chance to reason through it, we've already felt the emotion and we've had a reaction to the emotion. So, we flinch when the snake, this is the famous Darwin experiment, right? The snake lunges, even though there's a glass pane and I can tell myself, glass pane, I can tell myself I'm safe. The snake lunges, I still flinch because it's happening pre-logically. Now, once it's happened, now I can process this logically. I can think through, okay, so what of this emotion that I'm feeling, this reaction that's going on, is actual danger that I need to respond to versus what is just a knee-jerk reaction that I can let go of. The other thing that I want to address, though, is, Jay, you said that you take a half a pill a day for your anxiety. Is that something that was prescribed? And if so, have there ever been any changes in terms of dosage or in terms of medication? Because if you're not finding it to be effective, that would be something to talk to your primary care physician or your psychiatrist, whoever's prescribing the medication, to say, hey, I'm not finding it effective, or at the very least, there are certain situations or maybe times of the year or certain situations where it's not as effective, and maybe there's something I need to take in addition to that half pill. So is that something you've consulted with your prescribing physician, or is this just something that you've taken on your own?
No, it's from a physician. I'm just working. I'm just trying to find what direction. I'm trying to find some help on what direction to go, because like this just comes. Yeah, I don't understand it at all. It just comes on, and like I said, it overtakes me. Like right now, it's overtaking me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so it is going to be important to do those two things. One, definitely talk with your prescribing physician to say, hey, I've noticed that there are certain times where it becomes so overwhelming that the medication I'm currently on is ineffective. Is there something else to adjust? And then two, as Mark was saying, to learn how to self-soothe by examining the story.
All right, Jay, thanks for calling us today on New Life Live. Kay, Melody, Jillian, Lynn, David, everyone else that's on the phone right now, stay on hold. We will talk to you in just a little bit here on New Life Live.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live. Thank you for calling New Life Live. At the tone, our program will begin in 4 minutes.